If you stub your toe, you put plaster on it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean to say it doesn't need attending to. 9 times out of 10, their objective is to keep you well. Sometimes you just need to speak to somebody who you can trust. We're social animals. We need interaction. They may not be able to fix it, but they do understand, and that makes a big difference. My name is Cathy Donnelly. My role is Client Executive for Health and Safety, and I'm also a mental health first aider. Mainly to support the employees in the workplace, for those who have potentially or have experienced any kind of mental health or distress. As a mental health first aider, we're mainly here to support people, and to a lesser or bigger degree, depending on where they are with their mental health, we're completely non-judgmental. Most of it actually involves just having a conversation. Sometimes you just need to speak to somebody who you can trust and who can point you in the right direction. So it's mainly support more than anything else, and trying to just reduce some of the stigma in the workplace about what mental health is. There's the question. Lots of things really. Personally, I've been touched by mental health. Have had several people in my life touched by mental health, and have been fortunate enough to work for the NHS in my local area as a corporate buildings coordinator, specifically for the mental health trust area of the NHS. So I've seen it from both sides. I've experienced it after a yachting accident, whereby it took me a year to get back to work for both physical and mental issues that came out of that trauma. So yeah, I would say I have a unique experience in exactly what it means to be both sides of that fence, and I want to debunk all of the stigma that goes with mental health. If you stub your toe, you put plaster on it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean to say it doesn't need attending to. There's quite a lot people can do for themselves. Mainly from their companies, it's having that two-way communication, having enough trust to be honest and say that you are having a problem. The old adage, if you don't know, you can't help. You'll find that if you are struggling with something and you go to your company, 9 times out of 10, their objective is to keep you well. Your objective is to be happy and well. So I don't see where that doesn't correlate. So the support that you get, and you should have and expect from a company that you work for, such as NQA, is understanding and acceptance, and to point you in the right direction. As a mental health first aider, I can't fix it, but I can be there to support you and help you and point you in the right direction, and maybe show you and tell you some techniques that can help you with your mental stress and to calm you down, or to point you in the right direction to go and seek help outside for yourself. There's always people you can go to. If you can't confide in someone close to you, the first key and the largest hurdle is to open up and actually recognise that there is an issue that you alone can't deal with, and that something is pulling you down or putting pressure on you. Now that might be your own mental state that's doing that, but unless you recognise it and you ask for help and you cover it, no one's going to be able to dive in there and say, this is the path that you need to go down, or I'm a good listener. Sometimes that's all someone needs. What I would say is be brave. The worst that can happen is somebody can say, well, I can't help you with that. If you want to go and look for something and need something, the internet is always good. 111, they will point you in the right direction. Ring the Samaritans. They are always very good source of communication. Go online and just put in the phrase in any search engine, mental health solutions. Just be careful of the advice that you get and where you get your information from. Make sure it's a trusted source, a government source, or something that is approved. If you don't know, come and speak to your mental health first aider. They will give you sites and areas you can go to. There's lots of ways you can support yourself, but through being supported by someone else who understands your situation. They may not be able to fix it, but they do understand, and that makes a big difference. Mental health first aiders, it's myself, and then there's Sam Johnson. Either of us are qualified to listen, to point you in the right direction, and that's a resource that NQA have put in place to get us trained and get us updated in the latest techniques and information in order to facilitate being there for somebody who's going through a tough time. They may not be stressed, they may not be depressed. You don't always have to be, but knowing where you can get the resources from certainly helps. NQA have done that by training Sam and myself, not NQA themselves, but sending us to an outside company to do that, to understand, to have the correct support and guidance for all of our colleagues. And that's at the end of the day what we want. Sam and I are not exclusive. Sometimes I get calls from the field, and sometimes I get calls from inside Warwick House and head office, and people who work at home. Home working can also be quite an isolating thing. You're on the phones, you might be speaking to customers all day, but you actually haven't touched base with any of your colleagues. You know, we're social animals. We need interaction. Even though we might be the misog sitting in the corner and don't really want to talk to anybody, hearing everybody around you is good for your mental health. So yeah, the support NQA gives is it allows us as mental health first aiders to engage with people. And Sam and I are looking to put various initiatives together this year to engage the staff so they understand it's not a big stigma, it's nothing to be stressful about. It's to get to understand how your head works, the same as any muscle in your body. And I know your brain is not muscle, but it still can be used like a muscle. We're looking together, maybe later in the year, putting something together, a short webinar. But then again, if anybody out there within NQA has any suggestions, you know our email addresses, you know our phone numbers, call us. So yeah, there are lots of bits and pieces that we will be putting together over the next 12 months in order to facilitate extra support and understanding within NQA as a company for my colleagues. That's the best way I can describe it, really.